Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawud Dow from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida. Coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right, Lord willing, we can get this here video to press out. But there's a lesson I wanted to touch on, dealing with, the things that was written four times, and certain lessons that can be learned out of these different things, and how we can apply them to our situations today. All right. There's a lot of different things that, are pretty much, not to say symbolic, but, they pretty much parallel the same scenarios we in today. And we can look at these things and see how we got through these times or how those things affected the scenario. All right. So I wanted to look into this here, situation, or this, the lesson to be learned in the Tower of Babel, all right, and how we can apply that till today. All right, so we're going to start out in the book of Genesis 11, all right. It says, I'm going to read this all the way through, and I'm going to go back through, and then I'm going to touch on some points. All right, so this is Genesis 11:1. It says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, and they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. and they said, go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And Yahweh came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And Yahweh saw, behold, the people is one, and they all have one language. And this they begin to do. Now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So Yahweh scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore the name of it is called Babel, because Yahweh did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did Yahweh scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. All right. So that's the story of the Tower of Babel. Right. So, just to give a pretext of what's going on, obviously these people, like the scripture said, it was of all of one language, and they decided to build this tower that reached up to heaven. All right. Now we're going to actually put yourself into that position. All right, to see what was going on and how these people lived and how they thought, you know what I'm saying? Let's say, for instance, you know what I'm saying, this was a good thing to do, you know what I'm saying? And you have these people, and you have to think about this whole scenario, all right? You want to study the good and the bad and where things went wrong and where things went right at, all right? So we're going to go back over. It says, Genesis 11:1, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Now, it could have been, and I'm pretty sure they did all have one language, which was the Hebrew language, but nevertheless, that's, in a literal sense, but also for this scenario, all right, they all have one agenda. All right. This is what they're talking about, where it says, they all have one language and of one speech. You know what I'm saying? They all have, one agenda, more or less to say, you know what I'm saying? It's just like the damn military. They all wake up with one thing on their mind. You know what I'm saying? How are we going to dominate the other side? You know what I'm saying? How are we going to survive and dominate the other side? No matter what your job is in the military, at the end of the day, that's what's on at the end of your mind. Whether you're a pilot, how can I get this plane up here to go over there to either recon or destroy, or if I'm an infantryman, or if I'm a medic, how can I, make sure that we dominate the other side and we get back home safely? You know what I'm saying? They all got that same agenda. Same with here, you know what I'm saying? Going into, deeper into this Tower of Babel. All right. So you had, Nimrod, right? Let me go back. This is Genesis 10, and I'll read from verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh, wherefore it is said, even Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Iraq, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. So this is where, this is Nimrod's kingdom, right? So they all basically in league. You know what I'm saying? With one thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Just like this New World Order, the bad part about it all, you know what I'm saying? How do I say? In reality, the bad part about it all is they all got one language, one consent. And unless we all, the whole planet got one language and one consent. We all on the same accord with what Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai got to say, then it's in wickedness, because anything beyond that is going against him. All right. So overall, yes, this is wicked. The only thing we could do this in is the Most High. But however, in this scenario with the city, all right, they all on one accord what Nimrod got them doing. Look, we're going to all wake up. We're going to all, let me just continue reading. It says, and they said to one another, let me go back. It says, I'm going to just jump around through a couple of scriptures and I'm going to put it all together. It says Genesis 11:1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Jumping down to verse 3. And they said one to another, go let us make brick. Well, let me reiterate. And they said one to another, okay, go let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city of towers whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad in the face of the earth. So one of the foundational principles of the, this truth that we follow is, how can two walk together unless they be on one accord? All right. That's a powerful statement when you really think about it, because, if you, how do I say, let me read verse 6. It says, and Yahweh said, behold, the people is one, and they all have one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they imagine to do. So you can imagine in these times in the Tower of Babel, so this is how it would be, right? Everybody wakes up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Like how we got now, you wake up in the morning, most people go to work, if it was on first shift, second shift, whatever. In this society, in this point in time, everybody woke up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? And they all did what they all had to do on one accord to get down to that tower, whether they was architects, scaffoldmen, brick mortar layers, transports, making these things, setting these things, whatever, whatnot. Every day they got up and they all worked towards one thing. They all had one agenda, They always waking up with one thing on their mind. We're going to get up and we're going to accomplish this task, Nobody was getting up in the morning, you know what I'm saying, where there's a whole group of people going down to this here tower. And then you have a different type of people that's going down, going fishing. Or some people that's going on vacation. You didn't have some people that was going to go play the lottery or whatever. They didn't have anything else other to do. Not to say they didn't have anything else other to do. They didn't do anything else other than building this tower primarily. That was their first and foremost primary task. Now they did other things. However, you know what I'm saying? Like they cooked dinner, you know what I'm saying? But first and foremost, their first primary task was we going to figure out what we're going to do with this here building, building this here tower. If we have kids, two guys are talking in this society like, yo, I'm about to have a son, blah, blah, blah. Well, what you going to have your son be when he grow up? Well, whatever it is, my son's going to do something pertaining to build this here tower. And so should be the same way with your son. Oh, we about to buy a new car. Well, what kind of car are you shopping for? Well, obviously, I'm not going to buy a motorcycle because that's not going to be helpful for building this here tower. Everything I do and think about, I'm thinking about this tower first and foremost. All right. So whatever I do has got to be beneficial for this tower primarily. Secondary, I'm going to be able to reap the benefits from that. You see what I'm saying? So, for instance, I'm about to buy a new car, right? Well, my car has to be able to benefit this tower primarily before it benefits me. All right. So if I get a pickup truck, I can help use that to do whatever to build this here tower. Secondarily, I can use it for transportation. That's how these people thought. That's what it means. They on this one language, one accord, and they all getting up to do this here tower. And that's why verse 6, it says, and Yahweh said, behold, the people is one. They all have one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they imagine to do. So, yeah, like in this actual scenario where the Tower of Babel, they was going off, off from the Most High's will. But looking at what made these people strong and what made these people, one unit, you know what I'm saying? How the Most High says nothing that they ain't gonna be able to do because they all in one accord. They all on one hinge, That was their strength, you know what I'm saying? They thought about that primarily, It's like, think about so-called white people, right? In this regular society, just on a carnal level. They breed their kids for power. They breed their kids for leadership. You know what I'm saying? When they have their sons and they meet and send them into college, that's what's on their mindset. Look, I'm going to send you to this here college. I already know some people that can get you in. I know some people that's going to be able to give you this here connect to so-and-so to so-and-so to get you to this spot, or I'm only, meeting you with this here person's daughter or whatever, whatnot, because they have a good family connection. They meet with these types of things. You know what I'm saying? They got in their mindset what I'm doing, every move and every action I'm moving for. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this with purpose, and the purpose in mind is for white people in that scenario is leadership and power for their kids and their offspring. All right. And this scenario is talking about building the Tower of Babel. All right. And so the way to destroy all that was what? Verse 7. Go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So Yahweh scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left to build off cities. So in order to stop this whole big, massive plan from going forth, all the Most High had to do was change their thought patterns up, change up their agendas and what they wanted to do. So like I said, these people was all, hypothetically, was all waking up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It was all a big, long, massive migration down to the tower, start building 24 hours a day. This is what they was all doing. Primarily, they all thought about that. You know what I'm saying? That was the first thing that they thought about first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Before they did anything and whatever they did, you know what I'm saying? They thought about this tower first. All right. But now the Most High changed up they speech, you know? So now you got some people waking up that's going down to the tower to build on the tower and having kids and purposing their kids to do something for this tower. All right, but then you have a different group that's having kids now. Oh, I'm purposing my kids to be a fisherman because we're gonna go get some fish. Or I'm purposing my kid to be a celebrity so they can be famous. Oh, I'm now waking up in the morning and I'm going to go race NASCAR or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not purposing yourself and your time and your resources on building this tower. You got your own agenda. So now you can't accomplish this task as you want to accomplish it because you got everybody doing something different. All right, and so looking at that as just being able to study these people and how they was able to be moving, the principal thing to catch here, they was all on one accord, you know what I'm saying? They was all following after one thing, one agenda, all right, which was against the Most High's will, all right, and the Most High wound up switching all that up by what? Changing up their mindset to what they was all doing, all right? And so what? As we, like the scripture said, the things written aforetime was written for our learning and our understanding. We in the same position now, all right? We trying to we're not building the Tower of Babel, you know what I'm saying? But if you think about it like this, in that point in time, all right, this was something that was unheard of, unfathomable. This was some impossible feat. All right, they're talking about they had the brick and the mortar and all that. I mean, when you think about it, that was a new technology at that point in time. All right, this was some shit that was like, bruh, like if you telling somebody back then they was gonna do that, like, yo, this is the most retarded thing. Ain't nobody ever heard of that. You see what I'm saying? So that's like saying to somebody, yo, we finna build us a whole nother planet and we gonna put that bitch off in space. Like, nigga, how you gonna build a planet bigger than the Earth on the Earth and then put it in outer space? That just sound retarded to somebody, but this is what they was trying to, the ideology of it, like this is how far off they was thinking. Not saying it was impossible, because obviously it was possible, but the Most High, swapped it up. Same with today, you know what I'm saying? Like when you think about, the end of our journey and the transition into this here kingdom, bruh, look at our whole history, bro. We've been down the whole time. You know what I'm saying? We've been stomped out, choked out, you know what I'm saying, this whole time. And now, not to put it in a fucked up light, but I'm just saying, in a carnal sense, now we expect it to be raised up. Like we in this low state and we expect it to be raised up, you know what I'm saying, up on high over top of all these other nations and do such an impossible task and a feat that, you know what I'm saying, so like, give me 1 second. We being tasked with this impossible feat that the world has never seen before. You know what I'm saying? The things that we're about to do, the things we were called to do. Salakia. The things that we're called to do, you know what I'm saying, is unfathomable at this point in time. How do I say, on the planet Earth, Are we about to get spiritual powers, you know what I'm saying? Are we finna take down the Rothschilds? Are we finna, not to say break out of our captivity, but you know what I'm saying? All these things are about to switch up. You know what I'm saying? We about to go from being nothing into being something. You know what I'm saying? From basically being, like King David said, being taken from the sheepfold, from the sheepcoat unto ruling over the Lord's people. You know what I'm saying? This is an impossible task. This is not an impossible task, but this is something like in a carnal sense. Like, bro, that is super impossible when you really put it all on the table, when you really think about it. But what we can look at, all our forefathers as how do I say, inspirational points, motivational points, things like that. And we also got these other lessons like the Tower of Babel. You see what I'm saying? So give me 1 second. I don't know what these people got going on here. Damn, fucking heathen ass niggas. But nevertheless, we can use this as an example and use this as our motivation, because we also get the same precept, the same understanding, all right, inside the scriptures for a positive way. All right. Like I quoted earlier, how can two walk together? At least they be on one accord, So That, that was the power in the Tower of Babel. That's how they was able to prevail for so long until the Most High did what? He broke that unity. All right. So us in the same state. All right. We have to be in the same mind state of these original Babylonians. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they woke up and thought about this every day. What we gonna do to build this here tower? All right. Let me get a couple more precepts to kind of like, you know what I'm saying, bring this here picture on around to what I'm trying to show you. This is Revelation 21. Well, oh man. All right, I'm gonna just start reading from the top, and I'm gonna jump down. This is Revelation 21, verse 2. It says, "And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power." All right. So, verse 4. "And the Most High shall wipe all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things have passed away." I'm trying to jump down and give you this here picture. Verse 10. "And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out from heaven from the Most High, having the glory of the Most High, and her light was like unto the stone that was more precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and 12 gates, and at these gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel." All right, now let me jump down some more. I'm going to start from verse 21. "And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, and several gates was one pearl, and the streets of the city was pure gold, and as it was transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord power almighty and the Lamb of the temple, and the Lamb are the temple of it." All right. So basically, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to read that all the way through just to show that, look, there was going to be a new city coming up out of heaven. All right. Now, in Christianity terms, things like that, because they give you actual like dimensions and things like that of the city. We was taught that, there's going to be some cube city coming up out the sky. But as I read further on down, it was talking about the temple, which was the Most High and his son, but it wasn't an actual temple. You know what I'm saying? But check it out. This is what we trying to, let me grab another precept. This is what we pushing forth to. All right. This is something that the world ain't never seen before. This is like the Tower of Babel. All right. This is that new wave in the earth. All right. Let me see. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle was dissolved, we have a building of the Most High, a house not made with hands, eternal and in the heavens." All right. So that's basically speaking on like, if we actually perish on the planet Earth, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got our heavenly bodies up there with the Most High first and foremost. But this here place is a place not built with hands, just like we were speaking on in Revelation, that new city. That's a city not physically built with hands, because it's not an actual physical city for one. All right. But it's a city built with hands, like as we doing right now. But we not actually, I'm not bringing no lumber to the spot to build. You know what I'm saying? I'm metaphorically bringing you some lumber right now, you know what I'm saying, and planting it on the foundation, that type, you know what I'm saying. But look, every time we put up these epistles, every time we go do these things, this is one more brick into the building. This is one more thing to that great mighty, for reference point, that great tower unto heaven. But what, like I was just reading about in Revelation, that new city, all right, that new holy city, this is what we pushing forth to now. This is what we building now. All right. It's just like the Tower of Babel. We all got to be like those people back in those days, all on one accord, with one tongue. All right. Let me continue on reading. Verse 2, it says, "For this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven." All right. We in these bullshit ass bodies, man. We, you know what I'm saying? We them, actually, I'm gonna get to that. I'll get to that real quick. We in these bullshit ass bodies, man. We trying to get up out of here. Verse 3. "If so, that being clothed, we shall not be found naked, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we will be unclothed, but clothed upon that mortality might be swallowed up of life. All right, so like I was saying, bro, we in these bullshit ass bodies, bro. We not saying like, you know what I'm saying? We are saying, bro, we hate our life. We hate this fucking place. We wish we could just die. You know what I'm saying? But then we just gonna go back up to the heavens with the Most High, and we're gonna come right back down here. We not desiring to be dead like that, bro. We wishing that this whole life would be over with, and we can come back into the kingdom of heaven, and we can actually be in our first state. All right, we trying to build that back up. We in that time now that we building that back up. All right. Real quick, let me touch on that. Where is that at? I think it's chapter 15. Yeah, I think it's right here at the bottom. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. Behold, I will show you a mystery, that we shall not all sleep, but we should all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. For when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. So, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's what we earnestly groaning for, that we're going to be all changed, that we're not going to all die, but we're going to all be changed into that new spiritual body. But again, this is something that we ain't never seen before. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never, let me get this real quick. We ain't never witnessed this before. Where is it? Verse 6, I think. This is Jude 1 and 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, all right, the following ones that they like to talk about, which are you Israelites, all right, those are those ones who weren't supposed to drink of that cup, but did drink of that cup, all right. The angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, and he hath reserved an everlasting change under darkness unto the judgment of that great day. So we under the curses of Deuteronomy 28:15-68 until what? Until Yahweh shall return. All right. So we those angels that lost that first state, but we earnestly desiring, groaning in these fucked up bodies, in these chains in hell, desiring to be back in our first estate, more or less to say, you know, to basically be back in the kingdom of heaven. All right. And so now we in the times of this right here. We in the times that we will be waking up. This is Ezekiel 37. I'm gonna start at verse 2. All right, it says, verse 1. And the hand of Yahweh was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh, and set me down in the midst of a valley which was full of dry bones, and caused me to pass them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahweh, thou knowest. And he said unto me, Prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the words of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh, power unto these bones. Behold, I will cause breath to enter unto you, and you shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and you shall live, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as I commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. And then said he unto me, Prophesy unto the winds, prophesy, son of man, and say unto the wind, Thus saith Yahweh power, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. All right. And so I'm gonna skip verse 10 for a second. I think it's verse 11. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, Our bones are dried, our hope is lost, we are cut off of our parts. All right. So just to give you the breakdown to what was going on here in this Valley of Dry Bones. Valley of Dry Bones, look, what? That's here in America, basically, and all over the place, where we were scattered according to Psalms 83, and we would not know who we are. All right. And so we calling ourselves blacks, Mexicans, and Puerto Ricans and stuff like that. But what? Now the Most High is revealing, he got his prophets out there, putting a spirit on them, and they out there letting you know who you are, putting a spirit onto you, and now you coming back to your fold. You know, you coming back to becoming Israelites. Now you standing back up on your feet. And now he putting that breath into you, so you can go out and start speaking life unto these other dry bones. All right. And so this is what we I'm gonna read verse 10, but this is what we was commanded to do. For what reason? All right. We doing, again, just like the Tower of Babel. All right. We doing this all on one accord. For what reason? To build that city of the Most High. All right. The city of God. All right. Verse 10, Ezekiel 37:10, it says, so I prophesied as he commanded me. All right. We all supposed to be getting up at that on that one accord, doing as we supposed to be doing. First and foremost, doing this here work. All right. Because we trying to get up out of here. It says, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came into them, and they lived, and they stood upon their feet, an exceedingly great army. All right. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build that exceedingly great army. It's an impossible thing. It's not to say impossible, but it's impossible in the sense that ain't nobody ever seen this being done before. All right. Not in this way, in this fashion. So not to say it's impossible, because we have faith in the words that we're reading, and it's already been done as we see it in the scriptures. I'm a perfect example right here. All right. So it's already been done, but we just got to play it out. But nevertheless, as a faith booster, all right, giving you that ammo. All right, this is Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever and ever. So like I said, it's already written. We just got to manifest it out. But nevertheless, this is what we getting that exceedingly great army for. All right, to take this here kingdom. Let me jump down. Verse Daniel 7:21, it says, and I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And that's the time we in now. Until the Ancient of Days came, and the judgment was given. And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. It's talking about the elect of Israel. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're building. All right, let me jump on down. Verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion of the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. So this ain't gonna be no easy task, man. Well, it is an easy task. All we gotta do is have faith and believe. But in the carnal sense, just looking at it, this ain't no easy task, man. You gotta actually get out there and work, man. You gotta push through no matter what you got. You know what I'm saying? You got situations, but you know what I'm saying? You gotta push through certain things and how do I say, obstacles to build this thing up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is some real serious situations we in. You know what I'm saying? Just look back. All the brothers that's awake now is, ultimately because of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, but, on a smaller level, because there was another brother out there preaching, another brother that was out there sighing and crying, and that brother heard him. All right. So everything that you do, every video you put up, every news article you go into, everything you break down like that is one more brick into this here city. All right. We building this here thing up, and we got to be just like how they was in the Tower of Babel, on one accord and one language. We got to be, we have to be, think about this, you know what I'm saying, as our primary duty. All right. That's not what I want to grab. That's I mean, that's something good to go in there. That's not what I wanted though. Give me a second, Salakia. Con. This is 1 Corinthians 12:12. It says, for as the body is one, hath many members, and all the members of that one body being many are one body, so is in Hamashiach. So that exceedingly great army, just like Esau's army, you got the army, the navy, the air force, and so on and so forth. That's his military wing. When he come at your ass, I mean, if it's some light shit, he might just send one little branch, but if it's all out warfare, he's sending everybody. You know what I'm saying? They got different divisions and different jobs, even in the same division, same branch. But they all on one accord. They all trying to dominate the other side and come back home safely and protect their own assets. All right. Same way we got to be in this here thing. The same way what we got to be doing. You might have a different job from the next man, but you got to still be pushing forward for this one agenda. Like going back to the Tower of Babel. I could be an architect. You could be a blacksmith or whatever, whatnot. But we all pushing forth to build this here kingdom. That's not what I wanted. Salaki, give me 1 second. I'm trying to find a precept. Con. Actually, that other precept, that was through the spirit. That other precept where it says our weapons of warfare are not carnal. And true enough, because what? Why? We not out here like the scriptures say we're gonna fight and take the kingdom. Yeah, we actually are in this a point in sense, but right now, we doing the ultimate fight right now, waking up those, like Ezekiel 37, we prophesying into those dry bones and raising up that exceedingly great army, all right? Then also prophesying the downfall of this kingdom, all right? Because a lot of this here kingdom going to be taken down by America's enemies. You know, the whore gonna hate the beast and burn her with fire. Gog and Magog, that ain't us. You know what I'm saying? But what? Putting those prophecies out there is making them manifest. All right. This is 1 Corinthians 1:21. It says, for after that, the wisdom of the Most High, that the world by wisdom knew not the Most High, it pleasured the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. So as far as building this new city, the city of the Most High, all right, the Most High thought it pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching. That's all we got to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, right now I'm sending for many fishers, then I'll send for many hunters. For the majority of this here point in time, before he put his spirit on us and everything, put that autopilot on us, the actual manual labor we got to do right now is just preach. Go out there and do the work. You know what I'm saying? Teach, preach, teach, edify, and exhort. You know, that's what we was commanded to do. All right. I'm gonna grab a couple more precepts. We're going to close out. Actually, I'll close out with this. This is Ezekiel 9:4. All right. It says, and Yahweh said unto them, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men at side cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. All right. Like I said, he sent us out there to send for many fishers and then hunters, but then also bid as many to the marriage. You know, go ye to the highways and the byways. All right. So the Most High here is telling those angels to go ahead and put that mark of exemption on the ones that's already out there doing it. All right. So that's going to lead us into, let me see this. And this is part of the fight, you know, talking about the foolishness of preaching. All right. Revelation 14 says, and I looked, 14:1, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, with him 144,000 having the Father's name written in their forehead, according to Ezekiel 9:4. That's where they got that seal put for doing what? Sighing and crying for all the abominations that be done therein. All right, and I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters and the voice of great thunders, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed for the earth. All right, so in that new song they was singing was what? All right, these breakdowns. All right, that's what we got to do. All right, we bringing in that new. We basically these new musicians that's singing, right? They basically the how you say, the carpenters or the people that's how you say when you building a building, the construction crew basically that's building up this here skyscraper. You know what I'm saying? This metaphorically skyscraper, this kingdom of heaven. All right, Revelation 7 and verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, neither the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their forehead. Going back to Ezekiel 9:4 to tell you who they were. All right. And it says, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000, all of the tribes of the children of Israel. All right. And so they all got to be sealed. And how they going to be sealed? By what? By what? By the prophesying of the other men that's on the highways and the byways. All right. These are the men that's going to build this here kingdom of heaven. That's what we're looking forward to, you know. So just going back to the Tower of Babel, just how they was waking up every morning trying to put that their tower together with their mindset on that. That's the same mindset we need to be in today. Having our mindset wholly on the Most High, you know, walking that straight and narrow path, not the wide gate. You know, we're supposed to be keeping our eye on the prize, you know, keeping our first love as our first love and not anything else. This is supposed to be our primary duty. All right. How can this benefit the truth primarily before it benefits me? You know, because if it ain't benefiting the truth, then it ain't overall benefiting me. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone and taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for your Aki and pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. Defeat and edify the elect. Stay strong. Shalom.